What's up, Screen Hawks? It's your man Eric, and in today's video, I wanted to go over the Karate Kid and the problem with the Karate Kid, or I guess with all of the Karate Kids, pretty much. I feel like after the first one, and I recently seen this movie, and I recently got done watching the video. Watching the film yesterday, and I think it was an okay movie. Had some pretty good action, scenes. I think the acting was, pretty good for the most part. I like the main guy, this guy here. I think he did an excellent job with his acting. I didn't know he was 25, which is crazy. Like he really feel like he's a high schooler. But this will be spoilers throughout this. But yeah, the biggest problem I had with this movie was that the antagonist was like garbage. Like on the first Karate Kid, let me see, let me bring that up. We had this guy here, with Cobra Kai. So you had like the two dojos and having that antagonistic group, having him and his teacher, Sensei, what Master, Shifu, like it's so many different names, I feel like. But anyway, watching the first one, like the antagonists, like they were cool, like I low key wanted them to win, low key. So it was like a good dynamic between them and our main protagonist. And watching this, I was hoping that the main antagonist was going to be something similar to this, but it just wasn't there. Like they barely showed their gym, the opponents, the antagonists, a gym. You don't really hear too much about them. They didn't really have too many like dialogue that was important or made you feel any type of way for the people. Versus like the first one, with Cobra Kai, maybe like the first one, maybe some of the second one too. But like with these newer ones, like this one and the one with Jaden Smith, I'm just like that, like it's just not there. Like they don't have that polar opposite to go against each other. And I think that's where it fails. And I think that's where we're not going to see Karate Kid Legends being like some type of cult classic. I think the reviews were like okay for it. And like, I didn't see like no hundreds or no 10 out of 10s. Not even like no 9 out of 10s. I think most of them I've seen were like 80% and below, 8 out of 10 and below, usually around like the 60, 50. So 50 to 80%. So again, it's like an okay movie. I think the acting was good. It was cool seeing Jackie Chan again. Excellent job. The main guy was good. But for me, one of the coolest parts was kind of just seeing the old cast. Seeing him come back, Ralph coming back. I think that was cool. And we also was able to see again going back, member of the Cobra Kai coming back as well. And he did a great job too on his little part at the end. It would be cool. We can see him and Ralph in another movie, more in the movie as like some of the main cast. And I think that's probably why Cobra Kai, the Netflix series, did so excellent because, well, actually because they had they did a great job with the lore of it, having like the Cobra Kai. I freaking forgot the name of the other dojo, but having both of those still there, I guess, in present. I believe Cobra Kai ended up. I didn't watch all of it. I've only seen like a bits and pieces of like some of the first episodes. Well, I want to say Cobra Kai, the dojo, something had happened to the dojo, and I don't know if he ended up having to like join forces with Raph and whatnot. I've seen trailers and whatnot, seem like they were really cool, and on this movie they're cool as well. And again, just having that duality. Like, look at this, having that duality. Like that's something that's missing on the newer ones. Again, with like the Jaden Smith one in this new movie. So if they do another Karate Kid movie, I really want them to really hone in on having an antagonist that actually feels like an antagonist, but also likable in a sense. If they can like hone in on that, I think it would be great. It's kind of like it reminds me of like Batman movies. Like Batman, he's a cool hero. But what makes some of the best Batman movies is having a great villain. You get the Dark Knight, him going against the Joker. That was good. That was good. You have other ones when he's fighting against other people like Bane, for example. Like that's good. But like picture like a Batman where he just Batman and like no other villains. It's just him. Like the movie can still be good, but I doubt it will be anything close to him going fully Batman mode against a high ranking enemy, Joker, Bane, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow, for example. And I think that's what's lacking on these newer Karate Kid movies. So if you're the director of the new Karate Kid movie, I would definitely look into the first thing doing having a good antagonist or having it from like the antagonist viewpoint, but having a good antagonist that can go against the good guy. Again, I think the actors were great, and I really wish he would have had like a better opponent to play against. 'Cause the guy he's fighting, he's okay, but he's like very one dimensional. He doesn't really talk. He's just like a jealous dude pretty much the whole movie. Like there's no growth. There's nothing there to like really grow on. Like you can't make a second, third movie and put this part of this series and have him being anybody unless they just completely revamp things and really give him like some type of characterization for the most part outside of just being just one dimensional. Then we can get something, from there. But they do a good job with the heroes, but they don't do a good job with the villains anymore on these. And that's why it's just an okay movie. But let me know in the comments, would you want to see like another, good villain, a good antagonist, someone who could maybe make a redemption arc? Would you like to see something like that? Or do you just like it where they just focus on the main guy, main hero, and have, it's just one dimensional villain at the end? Like, it can get tiring after a while. And I think that's what the earlier Karate Kids did well that these newer ones are just not hitting movie side of things. The TV show, I heard really great things about the TV show. So I may have to go ahead and watch the whole thing. Maybe, do a review on that. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments what your guys' thoughts are on this movie, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.